Do you love Jesus? I can imagine that your answer is yes, of course, who doesn't love Jesus? But hold on before you conclude. There are 5 criteria for measuring whether or not a person loves Jesus, and I'm going to run you through them. And you might be surprised that in the end, you may find out that you never loved God. Are you ready? Let's shoot at it. Number 1, to love God is to obey his commandments. John 14, verse 21, Jesus said, "He that hath my commandment and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me." So if Jesus says, "Do not steal," like go ahead to steal, even though you say you love God, you don't love him. Number 2, to love God is to love other believers. The Bible says in 1 John chapter 4, verse 21, that we have a commandment to love other believers if we love God. Number 3, to love God is to serve him. Jesus said to Peter, "Do you love me?" He said, "Yes. Feed my sheep." He gave him work. Hebrews 6:10 tells us that God will not forget your labor of love. So if you love God and you're not working for him, you don't love him. Number 4, to love God is to make sacrifices for him. John chapter 14, verse 31, Jesus said that the world will know that I love the Father. I will do what he wants from me. And what was that? To lay down his life for sinners. What have you lost for Christ's sake? And number 5 is to rejoice when Jesus is glorified, even though it happened at your expense. Have you been bitter after making sacrifices for the Lord? You are contaminating your love for God. I encourage you, love the Lord. What's the benefit of this? There are unimaginable blessings for those who love God. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. Keep loving God.